What's going on, y'all? We are back in the building for a live, man. I ain't done a live in a minute. So I said, you know what? You know what? We're gonna do a live today. Okay. Um, I just got back from the dentist, first of all, and I feel like the dentist, they just find stuff to be wrong with your mouth. Y'all ever feel like that? Like, when I was there, I was like, dentist lady. Dennis lady, you do know my money don't grow on the trees, all right? My money might be made of the trees, but it ain't growing off the trees, okay? So, I'm gonna need you to wrap all this stuff up that you got that you keep finding every week, okay? Every time I got to go. Um, I mean, we want our choppers to be nice, but dang, okay? Anyway, can y'all see me and hear me clearly? Because I got it on 1080, and I just want to make sure y'all can see and hear me clearly. hmm they always finding something. Always, always. I'm like, you know what? Y'all gonna leave me alone. You're gonna leave me alone and you're gonna stay up out my mouth. All right. We got a lot to cover in this Basketball Wives review. Okay, good. Joyce says y'all can hear me and see me loud and clear, or she can hear me loud and clear at least. Um. All right. So listen, Basketball Wives. Did you catch the reunion last night? Um. To me, I'm gonna tell y'all. I know some of y'all don't like this show, and I know some of y'all, really don't even tune in to y'all tune in to hear the review videos and stuff like that, but you don't really like to watch the show. But I actually thoroughly enjoyed this reunion. But even before the reunion got started, we got some tea. Oh, yes. We got some tea. Duffey done quit the show, y'all. Duffey done quit the show ahead of the reunion. Now, I wonder why, in my opinion, she didn't choose to post this until after the reunion. All right. It kind of made it feel like, girl, you couldn't have waited a day. I mean, it, you couldn't have you could not have like waited a couple of like a minute or two after the thing was what had been aired. All right, so let's talk about what she says, and then we're gonna move on into Jackie, into Brooke, right? All right, so Duffy says tonight is the reunion, but also a goodbye to Basketball Wives. I will miss sharing my life with the fans of the show, but I won't miss the drama. I don't know what is next for me, but I would love to act or host. We will see. I know that God makes no mistakes, and I'm on the path that is destined for me. To my friends, family, and beauty team that supported me on this journey, I thank you all so much. Bye, Duffy. Bye, girl. Um, will y'all miss Duffy if she's not back next? Well, now that she's not gonna be back next season, heck, will you be watching next season? Y'all know I'm gonna watch because I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for love. Okay, but I just kind of feel like this is interesting that she's quitting ahead of the reunion. Um, interesting. To me, this reunion left off on a much more interesting note than much of the season, to be quite honest with you. And I got to tell y'all the truth. I did feel like, even with the final episode, I felt like it was, I was like, I'm wanting to see how things turn out between this group. And with Jackie, now that Jen, might be trying to, well, it had sent her that cease and desist. And my other thought was, now that I've seen this reunion, we got an even bigger dilemma on our hands. Well, Jackie does. Okay. Jackie got an even bigger dilemma on her hands because now much of the group really kind of sided with Brooke last night because Jackie found herself in the hot seat because of her lack of support for Brooke because Brooke, unfortunately, and we're going to have to talk about this, even though I don't want to talk about it because I also want to respect Brooke and her family. But because it was brought up, we must discuss it. And we're also going to discuss how grief plays a part and how we respond to people after someone passes. So we got to talk about that. But interestingly enough, Jackie Christie says that she was not going to even watch the reunion. She says, I haven't seen the reunion and refuse to give any energy to it, period. Hashtag thanks for all the love. Now, this is interesting to me because remember before the reunion aired about a couple of weeks ago, we had gotten this word on the street, basically from Jackie herself, that potentially they wanted her fired. You guys remember this? Just heard they want me to leave Basketball Wives. What y'all think? Y'all want me to go? And a lot of us were up in arms, but we also did not know where this came from. So it's interesting to me that she says, I haven't seen it and refuse to give any energy to it, period. By not giving any energy to it, that kind of makes it feel like, will Jackie be back? Okay. Will Jackie be back? This is what I also kind of found very interesting to me last night, but we're going to talk about British in just a bit. A comment says, Jackie looks out for British. I'm very surprised to see how British against her, how British was against her last night. So we're going to talk about that as well. And we're also going to talk about some tea when we get to the part about British, about Brooke and Jackie, because I think that I was going to do it beforehand, but I don't want to get us out of order. Okay. So let's talk about it. The reunion takes up, so we're gonna get some more tea in a bit. So stick around, y'all. Stick around. Don't go nowhere. It ain't. Trust me. It ain't gonna be long. Ain't gonna be no hour. All right. Ain't gonna be no hour now. You are right. British is definitely the bone collector. Okay, that's Thelma. I meant that was the comment I was going for. British is the bone collector of this show. All right. So let's talk about the reunion in general. The reunion took place in New York City, right? Which was interesting to me as well, as I said in a previous video, because I thought, this is kind of feeling more like Basketball Wives LA, even though Jen is a part of it. And so we've kind of, mixed the cast at this point, and they did that a long time ago. So it's interesting to me, though, that it was in New York when much of the show is taped in LA. I wonder why they did that. And again, for me, I kind of wonder if has something to do with maybe what is going to happen with Basketball Wives moving forward? Are they going to move to the MTV? Are they going to stay with the VH1, or are they going elsewhere? So that's a question that we need to also think about. The other thing is, the reunion was hosted by Tamar. I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion about Tamar as a reunion host. And I feel like it goes back to something that I said a couple of weeks ago about potentially having like a Tammy Roman step in to host a Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. What Tamar did for me was she pretty much, I feel like she solidified my point that I had made. And I think B. Scott had also made this point about, Andy Cohen and perhaps allowing someone else to do these reunions. I felt like Tamar was the perfect person to host this type of reunion. For me, whether you like Tamar or not, I felt like Tamar was respected, was respectable. She allowed the women to get through their issues. She didn't make it all about her. She was poised. I felt like she just did the doggone thing, and I felt like she did it well. when there were arguments that were happening that needed to be elaborated on, I felt like she asked people to be quiet when necessary. You know, she allowed people to talk and get their points across, and she pressed them for further details when necessary. So for me, I felt like, thank you so much, Joyce. I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. I feel like Tamar did a good job. And it seems like a lot of you guys thought so as well, because I just thought she was perfect. 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 And again, the ladies seem to really respect her. I just thought that was amazing. It was completely amazing. I loved it. Some people thought that, and I see in the comments, some people thought that she was a little bit out of line when she told Jackie to hold on for a second, but I didn't feel like she was disrespectful to Jackie. I felt like she was like, okay, because here's the thing. In that moment that Brooke was kind of, going off, I felt like this was a buildup for Brooke. And I feel like because Tamar understands what it is to, lose someone. We all have gone through this period where we've lost someone close to us. And we all, I think, could identify with Brooke feeling the way that she feels. We'll get to it more specifically in a bit. But I feel like what Tamar wanted from Brooke was to get it all out. And I thought that was super smart, because it could have led to a breakthrough, but it seemed to just go into more of a breakdown. But I don't think that had anything to do with Tamar. I think that had to do with the tension building between Brooke and Jackie. And again, we will talk about it. I personally felt like Brooke needed that moment. And I felt like Tamar was smart for asking Jackie to hold on for a second. Let's see if Brooke gets this all out, will she simmer down some, from the heat that's building up in her in that moment. So I thought it was just right, personally. So that's my thoughts on Tamar. My other thought was, I'm trying to figure out why Duffey was virtual. I mean, she said she was a little under the weather or a little sick, but I'm like, girl, did you have the panorama or something like that? Because otherwise you should have been there, right? They didn't gave so much of the season to you and Iman, and had this be the season ending thing, that I feel like, I mean, listen, again, if she's sick, she's sick. I can't do nothing about that. But I would also have to say, she probably knew that she going into the situation that she won't gonna do the show no more. So I feel, in my opinion, it felt very much like, well, I'm done with this show anyway. I don't gotta be there. Personally, that's how it felt, right? But again, that's her prerogative. All right, let me say that, because at least she came to the reunion. Malaysia said deuces, okay. We start off the reunion with British doing what British does and spilling tea. Now, I know that British be seeing the blogs, okay? I ain't saying she's seeing my blog, because who am I? But she be seeing the blogs and the things that people be talking about her on the blogs. And when the new charges were allegedly about to be filed, everybody talked about the story, right? So it's in the news, absolutely. So we're going to talk about it, right? But the thing about it is, my thought was this. British, for somebody who is up in everybody else's business, you cannot complain that the people are talking about what is going on in the news. This is dealing with your court case. It ain't like it ain't like we all sitting there digging into your personal life. No, that's not what's happening. And as a matter of fact, I ain't seen. Listen, as far as I know, the people that I don't really, from what I see, won't nobody digging through, her past to find out nothing about her. No, this is a case that you are going through that is in the news. So for you to be so into everybody else's business, you can't be mad that people are looking at what is printed in the news about you, right? Because it is a court case that has to do with the federal government. Okay. So for her to then be spilling Jen's tea about her new man, it was like, yeah, girl, we already know. Okay. Number one, we already know. Jen and Jelani ain't no more. They couldn't agree on something. Something ain't work. And so now she got a new man. Brenda's got a man at home, and that's it. Okay, period. We noticed that British ain't got no ankle monitor, thank the Lord. And so, anyway, British, you know, after all her talk about what she going through, we just breezed on past it. For real, for real. And Jen says, I think it was Jen that said, girl, you didn't handle this situation with so much grace. What you mean so much grace? Girl, I mean, listen, here's the thing. This is dealing with the federal government, okay? The federal government. The federal government. They done brought the charges up against you, okay? So this ain't like they be on this show treating it like it's just like, oh, you know, you just, I mean, oh, you just barely ran over somebody's toe, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's like the severity of the case. Here's the thing. Let's break it on down. Okay. The case that is against British is bigger than Kim Zolciak owing $1 million. Okay. When you think about the ramifications of all of that, okay, when you really break it down, British's case is much bigger than what Kim, like what and I'm just putting it into perspective because that was just the last big thing that I just talked about. Like, so it's like, it's so interesting to me that while I'm not saying condemn her, it's like there's no questions about it, no questions about her. And it's just like she's just dipping and dabbing in everybody else's stuff. It's just fascinating to me. It is fascinating to me. Joyce says she's a bone collector. Did she start collecting some evidence to keep her butt out of jail? I mean, I don't know, Joyce. I don't know. Do I want British to go to jail? No, I don't. I hope that she is innocent. That's what I hope. But the fact remains that this is serious what she's facing. So for it to all just everyone's just like, oh girl, you're handling it with so much grace. What? What? What are we talking about here? I can't. Anyway, what Tamar then reads the cards and says, you know, everyone, they reached out to Malaysia, but Malaysia showed no interest in participating in the reunion. Well, I guess not. I guess not. Okay. So they're gonna talk about it anyway. Brandy, you know, wishes that she wouldn't have quit. Brooke says she wouldn't have quit. She wouldn't have let these folk run her off or whatever like that. But you also got to think about it like this. Malaysia has been on this show for a very long time. And I would assume, logically speaking, that like Tammy Roman, when a situation, when you get to a certain point in your life and a situation becomes something that you don't like anymore, why would you stay in it? That's like staying in a bad relationship. You heard her say she loves a baby that don't love her back. By the way, I have never heard that phrase before in my entire life, but I'm gonna start using it now, right? She says she love a baby that don't love her back. I mean, if the baby don't love her, I mean, why keep coming back to the baby then? I mean, other than the fact that the baby needs your full attention as a parent. But anyway, I digress. No, Miss Jones, don't let them cancel the show. I like having stuff to talk about. Okay. Thank you, Miss Jones, though. I appreciate you. Yes, I mean, peace of mind. Somebody wrote it. Peace of mind, baby. Wait, where was it at? Peace of mind. There you go. Peace of mind. You got to learn how to walk away from situations that are no longer serving you. You know what I'm saying? Brandy does say something about, you know, how Malaysia be playing in front of these lenses. Now, this is something that Brandy's also going to state about Duffey as well. So in my mind, I'm wondering, Brandy, is it that people are playing in front of the cameras or is it you? Okay. So I want you guys to think on that because we're going to come back to that question. Is everybody else playing in front of the cameras, or does Brandy seem like she has a chip on her shoulder with regards to Duffey and Malaysia? Let us know in the chat what you think, because we're gonna come back to it. Jennifer does not regret airing Malaysia out. Okay. Now let's talk about that though. So Jennifer doesn't regret airing Malaysia out. But Jennifer and Malaysia's issues go further back from the period of time where Malaysia felt like Jen, because I believe it was Tammy that mentioned it, said that the plan was for Jen to tell Malaysia the tea about Shawnee, Evelyn, and the Evelyn and Shaq rumor, and for Malaysia to be the one to spill the tea to Shawnee. Am I correct or am I incorrect on that? And as a result of that, Malaysia felt used and threw a table at Jen. Is that not correct? Okay. I saw someone say exactly. Okay. So Jen and Malaysia have had issues from something that Malaysia perceived that Jen did to her. Something that Jen was unable to disprove, okay? Because when Tammy asked for all types of receipts that Jen said that she was never able to produce those receipts. Am I correct? Please chime in the chatterization if I'm correct still, okay? Now, at this point in time, it felt to me like Jen and Malaysia didn't really have that big of an issue, except that Jen felt like Malaysia brought Zell around to come for her, right? So that was the latest issue. Malaysia says that she didn't. Nobody believes Malaysia, right? So at this point, there's still a big issue. Malaysia hung up on Jennifer when British had brought her into a conversation about Jackie being bored. So there's already tension there. So does what Malaysia is what Malaysia did to her justifiable for you as a reason to bring up her foreclosure or her foreclosure? And then add to that, and this is a deep question, so I want you to follow me here. Add to that the fact that Jen says that when we do this show, you open your life for everyone to see, and that everybody else at the table has to talk about all of their business. Now, if Jackie then brings up Jen's business, is Jackie in the wrong because she is now bringing up a conversation that they had that was not on camera? Because for Jen, she doesn't feel like Jackie was in the right for bringing up the selling sunset conversation. So what I'm trying to get at here is, if you follow me, is that these women have been doing these things to each other for a very long time. Where is the line that they have for each other? I don't think that's established. And then, okay, how much of your life are you required to share? For me, I had already gotten the idea that Malaysia was going through financial issues. I felt like she told us that. She told us that she needed to find a new home. She told us Gennaro wasn't paying. She told us she was down in the dumps. She told us that she was going through and through and through. Did she need to tell us about the foreclosure? I don't know. I don't know. Was it Jen's place to tell us about the foreclosure? I don't think so, personally, but that's just me. But she doesn't regret it. Okay? She doesn't regret it. I like that Angel kind of stepped up to the plate for Malaysia and said, we didn't create a safe space for Malaysia, a safe haven for her to feel like she could really say that to us. Angel really, much of the season, Angel was seemingly not present. But it was interesting to me that I felt like Angel played a more integral glue type of role in this reunion than she did for much of the season. I felt like she was speaking truth in that situation. Now, each of the ladies may have had their issues with Malaysia, but I just don't think that there was a place where she would have felt comfortable saying anything, because now she's questioning everyone. Some people feel like she deserved it from the OG days. Some people feel like everything in your life should be open. It's questionable, right? Because I know a lot of people felt like she didn't have OG's back. A lot of people felt like she dissed, she didn't hold everything up with Cece. So it's a lot that goes into it, and there's so much history here that it's difficult, right? So I'm just asking questions, and I'm working my own way through this as I discuss it with you guys. But I'm just bringing up some points that I've been thinking about. We get into, is Jackie a meddler? Jackie says she gets paid to meddle. I don't like when people say that, because I don't feel like your job is to meddle. I feel like your job is to live your authentic life, and it should be fascinating enough that you don't have to do things to make it feel more over the top or make a scene. I just don't like that. Um, we learned that Brandy will be spending more time in LA because her son, unfortunately, will be having a procedure and he will need to recover there. So we will all lift up prayers for him. Brandy and Duffey and the no loyalty comment are brought up. For Duffey, she's hurt that Brandy is just letting her know this. And it does make me question, like, how close are y'all? Like, it doesn't seem like y'all are that close. And I honestly feel like Angel has said, I feel like Angel was correct. I feel like the Duffey and Brandy friendship has just, it's expired in terms of what we know them to have been before. And that's okay, because as we are grown, I feel like every friendship no longer works for us as we get older, as we get married, as we I'm not a party person no more. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes those friendships will fall off. And I honestly feel like Brandy and Duffey have just moved on in two separate directions, and that is okay. That's absolutely okay. But Brandy, the issue is, as I felt like there was more to why Brandy was upset that we maybe didn't get to see, and because I felt like I didn't understand it. Brandy, to me, for much of the season, felt like she had a chip on her shoulder. She did. And for Duffey, it did seem like she was just kind of like taking it. Every time Brandy had a problem, Duffey had to just kind of take it and, take it on the chin. But one of the things that British relayed to Brandy was that Duffey said, me and Brandy are not close. Me and Brandy do not talk like that. Okay. And so if I owe anybody loyalty, it would be more to you, British, and less to Brandy. But my argument would be to Duffey, girl, you are talking to the wrong person, because the last person that you should be loyal to is British. Okay. Because British, who seemingly was close to Jackie for much of the season, or at least from the way Jackie seemed to treat her or have the expectation from her, British was running around this entire season. I mean, lighting little fires everywhere. Okay. All up in everybody's business, collecting all of the bones. Okay. Clear. But and am I mad at it? Yeah, I am mad at it. But am I mad at it? Okay, not really. Okay, because I understand how these shows function, and somebody got to do the dirty work, and it just so happened to be British. Okay, um, so that was really the reason why you know Brandy had all these issues with her. So it does give me a bit more clarity in terms of Brandy's issues with Duffey. I understand it a little bit better. Um, So we get into a little bit about Brooke's segment. She decided that she would not stay with her husband. She didn't tell nobody. Everybody's shocked. She's going to allow that to be dissolved. And she does say that she doesn't know if she wants to date men, women, or both. So British is, I mean, single and ready to mingle with whatever she wants to. Okay. But when the conversation turns to Jackie and Jen and they issues, Jackie doesn't feel like they are in the same tax bracket. Okay. Jackie has been on this show for 10 years and she knows how to deal with people she don't like. But Jackie also thought that they were on the same page because she looked at Jen as a friend, and this is somebody that she welcomed into her life. And Jen says, "Well, I apologize if I hurt your feelings about the Selling Sunset conversation, but why didn't you tell me it hurt your feelings then?" So let me address that real quick. Does it always register to you when somebody hurts your feelings? Like, let's talk real talk. Because everybody always says, well, you should have said it at the time. I agree. You should say it close to the time that you feel like your feelings was hurt. But I know for me, I have to process. Did that person really just say that to me? Did you just say that? Like, I gotta think about it for a minute. Like, I don't know if I really like that. You know what? That kind of bothered me. Now that I think about it a little bit more, now I ain't gonna wait weeks. Okay, I'm talking about give me an hour or a day or something like that. But everybody don't process information the same way, so I can understand that. But I do say you need to talk to somebody about it before talk to me directly about it, right? So anyway, Brooke then turns to Jackie, baby, and Brooke is pissed. Because what we did not know that Brooke was not intending to mention, but she couldn't take Jackie allegedly pretending to be some type of, good friend and matriarch to the group. Because Brooke is like, you didn't spend no time with me after her daughter passed. You did not, you wasn't there checking up on me. You just wasn't really present. And according to the T, okay, the T is on the streets that, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Let me pull it up right now because it's deep. All right, it is deep in the mire. Okay, it is deep in the muck and the mire. And to do this, I need to go over to the BBWT Inc. And this is where it gets real deep. Because Jackie feels like she talked to somebody who was involved with Brooke and her family. And, the person had said that they would relay a message to Brooke and she would get back to them, to Jackie. But according to the person that Jackie talked to, okay, they say I'm only addressing this because of Kayla, which is Brooke's daughter who passed, unfortunately. Jackie Christie, you and I never had a conversation. We never spoke over the phone. You DM'd me to add you to the guest list that I spent countless hours putting together for Kayla's homegoing that you never showed up to, which is totally fine. But please do not lie. Okay? Baby, so the girl that I think it was a girl. I'm not necessarily sure. It may not have been. Let me make sure. The person. Let me just say that. I think it was okay. So it looks like a woman in the thing. The person that Jackie talked to said, "Not today, sis. Not today." Okay. Um, Here's the thing. This situation between Jackie and sorry, I took myself out. Jackie and Brooke is tough to navigate. Brooke, honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you have ever lost somebody, it takes you through the ringer. It really does. And I think that again, I think that Tamar did the right thing trying to allow Brooke the opportunity to talk through it. And I will say that for Brooke, it seems like she felt like Jackie does all this talking about sisterhood, but she wasn't there for me when I really needed her, like everybody else was. For Jackie, let me say this. In everybody doesn't know how to process grief for another person. So you don't always know if you're doing the right things. So I can understand why, but I can also understand why Brooke would have a hard time accepting her apology. Now, here's the thing: Jackie apologized several times right there. She did. It's up to Brooke whether or not she wants to accept that apology or not. Okay. But as things continue to be discussed, Jackie is getting frustrated because Brooke is not letting it go. You could tell that this had been building up in Brooke for a while. And so for me, I think that it would have been smarter for Jackie to just let her get it out. Let her get it out. Sometimes we can be so intent on defending ourselves that we stop hearing what what the person needs from us. I wish that Jackie had said in that moment, "How can I make this up to you? What can I do now? Is there anything I can do now?" Because I think a big part of Brooke is still grieving. And so it's probably making her a bit more, her response is a bit more heightened than they may have been otherwise. But because I don't think that Jackie recognized that cue from Brooke, she kind of went into the defense mode, which is understandable because someone next to you is going off. Okay. And at that point, Jackie goes from defense to offense, which then turns things up a notch for Brooke. Now, we know that Jackie and Brooke have fought before. Okay. So I don't know I don't know that you ever get over that. I don't know. It's possible. But deep down, do you really? So Brandy goes to try to sit on Jackie, like, and sit between the two of them. And Jackie's like, no, move, 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 move. I don't need you over here. But I almost feel like if they did not, because, Tamar was trying to get Brooke to like let it all out. And she even had to ask Jackie to be quiet. I do think that Jackie probably needed to handle that differently. I do. Only because I think that Brooke is still going through the process. I think she needed more grace in that moment, and I don't know that Jackie knew what she needed. So, um, it's interesting to me. It's interesting to me that even after they broke apart and they went to their separate, dressing rooms, Brooke is still upset about it. Angel's in shock, Angel is much more involved now. Which is I thought was interesting. Um, Jackie still kind of doubled down on it afterwards, right? She doubled down on all of it, like, and for Brooke, that bothered her. That absolutely bothered her because, as you can see here, she says it. And again, our friends over at BBWT caught this. She said, "What pissed me off today was seeing Jackie's private interview after our back and forth on stage. I'm truly disgusted." Because Jackie says that if it were her daughter, she wouldn't have even, she doesn't know if she would have even been at the reunion. And this is basically it. Saintly Iconic Soul says Jackie was frustrated and Brooke had already had issues with Jackie, and she's also grieving. It was a recipe for disaster. It really was. It really and truly was a recipe for disaster. But I think also, too, the realness of this situation made this conversation more interesting because it's true to life. I guarantee you, if you have ever experienced the loss of a loved one, you see this play out in families and in friendships. I've seen it time and time again in so many different ways. I see it all the time. So it's unfortunate that we have to discuss it, but I do think that the reality of it and how they handle it moving forward is the jumping point for the next season of this show to see if how they resolve it, right? Because everyone does handle grief differently. They do, right? So we got to keep that in mind too, right? Now, the other side of this is there's more with Jen. Apparently, Jackie says that she did not pick the rooms in Sacramento, but Brooke is rolling her eyes and don't believe Jackie at all but she already mad. And Jen says that the problem is that Jackie doesn't respect her. Jackie was trying to son her. And that Jackie needs to realize that Jen is an OG up in this thing, okay? If it wasn't for her, nobody would be sitting there, okay? Truth be told, had Basketball Wives the first seasons not jumped off, it wouldn't have been a Basketball Wives LA. Now, do we attribute that to Jennifer? I don't know. That's up to you. But that's what she's saying. But Jackie is right, according to Jennifer. Jackie is in a different tax bracket because she's married. Jen is not. Jen says she is single, but at least she's not returning clothes to Neiman Marcus. Oh, yes. Jen has obtained a copy of Jackie's Neiman Marcus shopping profile. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Don't you know? Sam, bring me the receipts. Sam, please, Sam to the stage. Can we bring the receipts to show these people Jackie's shopping profile to show where she returns 70% of the items that she purchases? Okay. I said, now, I was not expecting this. Okay. Y'all wait 25 episodes to really get good. Okay, let's get into it because they show us the receipts. But Jackie say, ha 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 ha, I'm still rich. I just returned the clothes that don't fit me, that I don't like. Now, y'all know this ain't every stylist, but a lot of stylists do this. A lot of stylists will purchase, not all stylists, and don't get me wrong, because if you a stylist and you see this, don't at me, don't come at me, boo. But what I will say is that I know that some stylists will go and purchase the clothes and then return them after the items have been worn. Now, the question was, is this being done under Jackie's Neiman Marcus profile, or is Jackie going to the Neiman Marcus and returning 70% of the items that she purchased? I don't know. Now, Jackie says she is like a VIP member or a preferred member at the Neiman Marcus, But I'm thinking to myself, nothing is safe. Ain't nothing safe in these streets. Heck, my dental records might not even be safe in these streets, okay? Jennifer can probably obtain a copy of my dental records the same way that she done obtained a copy of this Neiman Marcus profile. Ain't that a B? Now, I'm looking at Neiman Marcus crazy because I'm like, my information is not safe with you, okay? Neiman Marcus. I'm blaming you. Okay, so I need you to find out what employee is leaking the customer profiles. Because let me find out that my profile is out in the streets like that. Okay, let me find out. I'm gonna be real mad. Okay, not that I shop at Neiman's like that, but I'm just saying I don't feel safe no more. I don't feel safe in Neiman's. I don't feel safe in Neiman's anymore. Nope. I will not be participating. Okay. I don't feel safe. I can't. I won't. I shan't. Goodbye, Neiman. Goodbye. So anyway, the cease and desist comes up, and Jen wants Jackie to shut the F up about her case. Jackie thought that Jen was just using this documentary as a plot point on Basketball Wives to get the tea out about the documentary, so we'll be aware of it. Now, I would be more inclined to say that that's possibly true if VH1 was showing us that documentary, but as it stands right now, we have seen hide nor hair of this documentary. Now, where is it at, VH1? I don't know, but I guarantee you, for me, Jen, what I would be doing is forget about the Neiman Marcus profiles. You need to be going down and getting the profiles for the release dates for this documentary down to the VH1 offices, okay? Spend your time doing that. Now, listen, I ain't mad that you was able to get, Sherlock Homeboy right here in me is not mad that you was able to get that profile, okay? Because get it how you live it. But, baby, let me tell you something. Your time would be better spent getting the profile for the release date of this documentary than Jackie's Neiman Marcus profile, where she is returning allegedly 70% of those items, okay? That she say don't fit. Anyway, Jackie, is sorry, okay? She never actually saw that piece of paper that Brooke handed her that was the cease and desist. Okay, she never even looked at that paper. It could have been a blank sheet of paper for all she knows. It could have been a notebook lined sheet of paper from Jen's diary. Okay, actually, it could have been Jackie's profile from Neiman Marcus. She should have probably opened up that envelope so she could have seen it. Okay. Then she would have known about Jen having the tea on her profile because she would have opened that envelope, but she did not. She poured everybody's champagne on it. So now we don't know what was in the documentary. Where is the documentary? What was in the cease and desist? How did she get the customer profile? These are the things that I want to know. Now I'm fired up. Okay, now I'm fired up. But see, Jackie, is just sorry because Jackie is a shining bright light, okay? And she can't help it. She's such a shining light. And perhaps maybe nobody on this show is, okay? Maybe nobody else is a shining light. But, oh, no, not Brooke. Brooke is definitely a shining light. And she is letting Jackie know. Brooke goes into, yes, I am a shining light. We are all shining lights. We are all powerful women. We are women. We are women's, okay? Get into it. And then they get into it again. Jackie at one point told Brooke, listen, if you don't feel like, being around me on this platform, then maybe this ain't the platform for you. Oh, that sent Brooke over the edge. Anyway, final words, anything that didn't get said. Brooke loves, Brandy loves Duffey. Duffey loves Brandy. Sure y'all do. Have y'all talked since? That's a good question. Anyway, overall, I thought Tamar was great. This reunion got me very interested for season 11 of Basketball Wives. And if I were y'all, VH1, BET, MTV, Paramount, who is over all of them, I'm going to need y'all to get it together so y'all can film this next season because the writers is on strike and we ain't going to have nothing to watch, okay? So y'all get it together, all right? And with that being said, I will bid you all adieu. So I'm Richie Skye, the author and publisher of The Wickedest Wives, Desiree's Desire, which is book 1 in a series. This book is about redemption. It's the story of a disgraced journalist who has lost everything. And now she has to rebuild her life brick by brick
And what better way to do that than to join a reality TV show? Why not? Now, not only are we talking reality TV, so you know there's gonna be scandal, you know there's gonna be a little bit of deception, backstabbing, a little romance, and why not throw in a sprinkle of murder to really round out the excitement? So I really want you guys to dive headfirst into these books. Desiree's Desire is just the first of many to come. So I'm super excited for you guys to read this, and I want to know exactly what you think. So be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.